washes over me. I am one in the Spirit, Spirit washes over me. The clear light of Spirit opens up my eyes to see. I am one in the Spirit, Spirit freely flows through me. I am one in the Spirit, Spirit freely flows through me. The wholeness of Spirit is the key to my well-being. I am one in the Spirit, Spirit walks on earth as me. I am one in the Spirit, Spirit walks on earth as me. At one in spirit, an endless sea of loving being. I am one in the Spirit. 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 One in the Spirit, an endless sea of loving being. We are one in the Spirit. 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 One in the Spirit, an endless sea of loving beings. Good morning, everyone. My name is David Washington, and I am pleased to welcome you to this Sunday celebration offered by the Center for Spiritual Living, Asheville. This program is pre-recorded as it was predicted that we would have snow today, and indeed we did. But I am happy and thrilled that we were able to put something together and together celebrate life, celebrate the authority of divine love in the midst of everything that's going on in our world. So I would invite you to move along with us for the next 50 minutes or so and enjoy the celebration and participate in whatever way makes the most sense to you.
Hello. Welcome to a very different but still amazing Sunday celebration. Thank you all for being here, for participating, for watching, and being part of this spiritual community. I've got some announcements. Due to the winter weather that we're currently experiencing, we chose to cancel Jonathan Van Valen's events for today and tomorrow. Please know that we will be scheduling him again very soon. Kate Greysen has an upcoming class, Realize the Mystical and Abundant Life That You Are Already Living. Monday classes are hybrids and begin tomorrow at 6 p.m. Wednesday classes are in person and start this Wednesday at 1 p.m. You can register by going to our upcoming events on our website at cslasheville.org. Friday Spirit Express is this Friday at 3 p.m. and at 7 p.m. We'll have drum circles. Come create spontaneous, improvised music together using drums, flutes, and other percussion instruments. No registration required. This February covered dish luncheon will be next Sunday, February 8th. Our theme is warm and cozy. Makes sense right about now. Bring your favorite winter warm and cozy dishes to share with your spiritual community. Our annual community meeting has been moved to February 15th. That's Sunday, February 15th. We are pleased to share that we have 3 applicants for the 3 vacancies on the Board of Trustees. They are Doug McKee, Janice Braxton, and Chaplain Judith Loniak. We have this amazing course coming up with Kim Von Berg, a relationship counselor. She's facilitating the 8-week Calling in the One course. This is about calling in the love of your life and being present to what that means. This class begins Tuesday, February 17th. You can find out more information on our events webpage, our events page on our website. February's Wednesday night special is Expect to be Made Whole with me, practitioner April Connor. It's time to break the patterns of accepting and projecting our limitations. It's time to accept and expect wholeness. Join me Wednesday, February 18th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you to Amika Venturi for holding the spiritual energy for a powerful and peaceful Sunday celebration. This is what we call High Watch. I would like to thank all the hearts and hands that make this day and all of these places that we reside special. To continue this Sunday celebration, please join me in going within for an affirmative prayer that we call spiritual mind treatment. I know there's one life force energy in, as, and through all things. The fullness of life is here and now. I know that this energy, this fullness, this abundance is eternal and infinite. I know that this fullness of life is in the seen and the unseen, reaching far beyond the stars and present in every single breath. I know this is who I am. This high energy, this clear knowing, this abundance is present in my experience and is my experiences. It is all here right now. And I know this abundance is in our loving relationships, whether it be in our romantic relationships or the relationships we have with our family, but it is also in the relationship with the stranger on the street. Love guides us and supports and nurtures all of our relationships. We are supported and nurtured in these amazing relationships that we get to have. And I know this abundance is in our health and wholeness. It is absolutely our health and wholeness. We stand, we move, we breathe easily and effortlessly, knowing that this fullness, this abundance of health and wholeness is in each and every cell and organ and system and function of these amazing bodies that we have. I know that this abundance is in our creativity and the purpose-filled lives that we live. We show up and we shine our light into the world. We have unique gifts and we share them liberally. And I know that this abundance is in our finances. Our bank accounts, our investments, our pocketbooks overflow with abundance. The joy of giving and receiving and giving. This law of circulation is free and clear in our lives. I am so blessed and grateful to know this truth, to hold this truth as true for each and every one of us listening and watching. I am so grateful for this truth in my own life. And I simply let this go because it is already so. Because life only and always says yes. And so it is. And so it is.
Sometimes we don't know how close we are to realizing dreams. The truth is, we're so much closer than the evidence may seem. Let your sadness subside and let's dry our eyes. Let our fears dissolve. No more hesitations or useless questions. Ready or not, it's time to move forward. Got to make a choice, keep on walking, walking on the pathway of your life. Got to make a choice, keep on walking, walking on the path that's filled with light. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Sometimes we want to know the future and see where all this leads. But what fun is that in this game we play of divine hide and seek? Let your sadness subside and let's dry our eyes. Let your fears dissolve. No more hesitation or useless questions. Ready or not, keep on walking, walking on the pathway of your life. Keep on walking, walking on the path that's filled with light. Keep on walking, walking on the pathway of your life. Keep on walking, walking on the path that's filled with light.
Our core value this Sunday is authenticity. We express authenticity in alignment with the truth of our beingness. We be real. It is my honor to introduce my friend, Reverend Dr. Kate Greysen. Kate is a retired communications professor. She received her doctorate from the University of New Mexico in 2007, her practitioner license in 2015, She was ordained as a Science of Mind minister in 2017 and received a Firewalk instructor training certificate in 2020. Kate has attended Science of Mind centers for 40 years. She is a frequent speaker for New Thought centers in Western North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. She's been teaching classes at our Center for Spiritual Living, Asheville, since 2015. Please welcome my friend, Reverend Dr. Kate Greysen.
Hi, Reverend Dr. Kate Greysen here. And this is an unexpected surprise to be making a video. And the title of this talk is called The Paths of Fear, Faith, and Mysticism, following our inner self, or following our inner voice, however you want to say that. We live in a world of inner spirituality. And for years, I have quoted Ernest Holmes as stating, "We live, move, and have our being in spirit." And I thought he was speaking figuratively. Kind of that it was an overall summary. And in fact, it's a quote directly out of the Bible, Acts 17:28. But that was never clarified for me, not by Reverend Patrick at the United Center in Albuquerque 30 years ago, not by my ministers in Reno, Tucson, Austin, or in Asheville. Everyone quoted it, and it was vicariously attributed to Ernest Holmes. Well, inner spirituality is that we take things from everywhere and we embody the truth of what they are. But for my part, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I never researched that quote for myself, much like I haven't researched other traditions of other faiths that create the inner spirituality of Science of Mind. And I don't really know why, but it makes me sad, especially as an academic and as a researcher of language and communication. I just accepted something, which is what we do when we're told by people that we have faith in. I read a quote recently by Susan Bucher, and she says, "We want spiritual depth without material sacrifice. We want ancient wisdom without cultural context. We want transformation without discomfort. And we want to feel enlightened without actually changing our lives." Well, this is me. I want all of those things, and quite often I don't want to do the hard work. But her quote reminded me of a story of blind men and an elephant. So long ago, in a small village in India, there were 6 old men, and they were all born blind. And since the men could not see the world for themselves, they had to imagine many of its wonders. And they listened carefully to the stories that were told by travelers. And they tried to learn what they could about life outside of their village. And the men were curious about many of the stories that they heard, but they were most curious about elephants. So it was arranged for the men to meet an elephant, which they did. An elephant was brought to their village. And while they were waiting for dinner that evening, the 6 men talked about the elephant. "And an elephant is like a wall," said the first blind man, who touched the sides and said, "They were rough and sturdy. Surely we can agree on that." "A wall? The elephant is like a giant snake," said the second blind man, who was examining the trunk. It's a spear, I tell you, insisted the third, who felt the tusks and the sturdiness and the sharpness of it. And the fourth blind man rubbed his hands on the legs, cried, I'm certain it's a giant cow. The man who had been raised up high to feel the ears of the elephant, it said, it's like a magic carpet. It's soft and floppy, but strong. There is no doubt that it's a magic carpet, said the fifth man. Don't you see, pleaded the sixth blind man who had held the tail. Someone used a rope to trick us. And their argument continued, and their shouts grew louder and louder. It's a wall, it's a snake, it's a spear, it's cow, carpet, it's a rope. Stop shouting, cried an angry voice. How can each of you be so certain that you are right? Well, this parable of the blind men and the elephant is dated back to 500 BC, and it's thought to have its origins in ancient India. The story illustrates that subjective experiences only offer partial truths, highlighting the need for a broader perspective and collaboration to grasp complex realities. Without any further exploration and not collaboratively sharing what we know, we see only one aspect and not the entire animal, so to speak. So the parable is actually a metaphor for our own lives. We are so much more than a spindly tail or a chunky leg or a rough, heavy body. As we know, the elephant represents strength, wisdom, loyalty, history, memories, and stability, and their symbolism just goes on and on. Many faiths revere the elephant for prosperity, patience, and the ability to overcome obstacles, the totality of being. It's as important to recognize the intersectionality of our lives, of race, class, ethnicity, politics, and religion, as it is the parts of an elephant. As such, it is important not to make assumptions about an individual or the situations we find ourselves in. In the words of Joel Goldsmith, where you stand is sacred ground. What we forget is that the concept of sacred ground has to be combined with the whole, and with a blend of what Thich Nhat Hanh has said to be formed of the head, the heart, or as an axe from the Bible, in me, as me, through me. To walk the path of a mystic, we need to make a decision to show up for life as it is. All of it. Many of us continue to live in fear. Fear of lack, fear of being hurt, fear of loss. And when these things happen to us, and they will continue to happen to us, we experience broken dreams, shattered lives, hits to our self-esteem. We may experience poverty. And instead of dwelling on the brokenness, try to lean into it, as Mark Nepo says. Explore the multiple situations that we find ourselves in, not only with our fear in the front of our brain, but with a genuine curiosity about what this incident means to you. Be open, discussing it, and sharing your thoughts and your feelings with others. Then move to your heart. Allow the feelings to be present and to seep through your body and to guide you to what you know needs to be done. Head, hearts, and hands, all of you, the whole of you. If you stand on a plot of sacred land, so too does everyone else. Even if you don't understand their behavior and their intention, Be clear of your own, because if you are standing on sacred ground and have entered that realm, then you are on the path of the mystic. I believe that the mystic is one who listens to their inner voice and then allows that inner voice to guide them into situations and circumstances which allow and reveal treasures that are hidden within every situation. Each person, each situation, each horrifying experience, each loving experience, there is no limit to the examples that can be brought into our lives for us to learn from. If you open yourself with your head, your heart, and your hands, you are on the path of mystic awareness. Mirabai Starr states in her book, Ordinary Mysticism, and as others have stated before her, Wayne Teasdale, Goldsmith, Holmes, the Fillmores, the writers of the Bible, the path of the mystic is to show up, to be present, to lean into what is, to recognize each experience for what it is. And sometimes even more difficult to recognize the sacredness of life as it happens to you, within you, as you. In truth, I really started working on this talk back on December 1st, World AIDS Day. Like many of us, I lost many people during that time. I worked in the field, I took meals, I cleaned homes, I drove people to appointments, I sat with them and held their hands, but I didn't learn at that time from that experience. I was just sad and angry. As I reflect on those experiences now, I see incredible amounts of mysticism and spiritual strength from those individuals. I see men, women, and children who looked at me with love and appreciation, fear, shame, anger, and guilt, as well as happiness and joy throughout their months of suffering. And still, it breaks my heart because I know, we all know, how cruel our private and our public worlds can be to us. See, here's the thing about that. And other issues I was involved with at that time. I was a radical feminist. In fact, I still am, but I'm not nearly as angry as I was. Maybe that's just age and maturity. But I needed that fear and that sadness and that anger to fuel me into the work that I needed to do. I didn't see that work as sacred. Not then, but I do now. Then just a few years ago, on Thanksgiving Day, I collapsed on one of the Bent Creek trails. I was hiking with a friend before we went to dinner at a friend's house. And I believed I was having a heart attack. There was no phone signal where we were. So my friend left me to find someone with a phone that had a signal to call emergency response. And I was slightly off trail. I was laying by the creek and I had passed out. And I came to all alone, hearing the water of the creek. And I looked up and initially wondering where I was. And then I started to see and feel this intense inner peace. Everything was hazy and vibrating and shining through the fog. Everything had one rhythm, and that vibration was so strong I could feel it through the ground. I could see it emanating from the trees and the leaves and from the creek. Even the water was rippling with a heartbeat. And as I lay there, I knew I was intensely alive. And just at that moment, the EMTs arrived, everything changed, the unifying heartbeat stopped, everything became brisk and brusque as they moved me on a stretcher down the trail to where the ambulance was waiting. And then I was at the hospital going through all the tests, and they couldn't find anything. Finally, after several different tests, they decided they wanted to do some exploring, and I declined. What I know is that that incident was a metaphor for me in how I was living my life. I get stuck in the fragments. I used to ruminate about the fragments in my life. I'd get stuck in what I believed was right and what I thought I knew. I don't believe at the time I was living my whole life, and I was not living my whole life with my whole heart. I was not living my life in the whole picture, and I was not living my life in love. Though I didn't fully recognize it at that time, it was a turning point for me. And once I examined it and felt it, the fear of dying at that moment, the fear of what would happen to my things, to my friends, to the life I was trying to create. Once I felt the fear, I finally really understood spiritually and physically. I was part of the mysticism of the world around me. I was one with it. Now, my motto is collaborative non-cooperation. I see what is happening in the world. I think about it and I research it so I can understand it. I explore all sides and how it feels to me and what it brings up in me. I discuss the sadness and the fear and the anxiety and the angst, and I let those feelings wash over me, and then I think, what can I do? What can I do? I can't solve the world's problems. I can't solve my friends' problems. I can't solve your problems, but I can lay my hands on my problems. I can do something. And the most important thing I can do is my connection to the spirit within my heart. Recognizing that I am a sacred individual standing on sacred ground, and what I touch, what I think about, what I feel is also sacred. Our divine presence in life, everything we do touches everyone else. Every word we speak touches someone else and then vibrates out to others. Every hand we hold, every person we hug, every smile expands in vibration, resonates through the air and keeps on going through infinite time and space, touching others. We can do something about the world we live in. Deep in our hearts, deep in your hearts, we all know that this is true. We are told this time and time and time again. And yet we retreat into that little cocoon that we have built for ourselves. And I invite you right now to step out of those little conclaves of safety. Look your fears in the face and do something. Heart, head, hands, understand what it is and what you can do. Look at what is broken in that situation. The trunk, the legs, the tail, the body, pull it all together in a whole, because as long as it is fragmented, you cannot see the whole picture. And once we see the whole picture, it is easier to recognize the sacredness that is emanating through that pain and suffering, to see the love, to see the wisdom, to see the joy, to see the happiness that is within the whole. It can be scary to leave our safe environment, but God does not promise that we will not suffer. God as spirit promises and lives within us as a light to move through the suffering, to move through the problem, to come out on the other side and find ourselves stronger, more loving, more compassionate, more sacred. This is what being a mystic is. Finding the love and the presence of spirit in the depth of life. A former teacher of mine that many of you may know is Reverend Christy Corna. And when confronted by some inane statement or behavior would say, huh, huh. And she would kind of get this look on her face. And I believe that she did that with me quite often. Huh. She also talked about backing up the bus. What I understood when she said backing up the bus was to take that bus load of all those little me's and all of those things I had learned and to stop moving forward until I was aware of what was in me, what was growing within me, pushing me forward into the unknown, to look at my beliefs, to look at my behaviors, to look at my life, to take a good look at me. Where am I coming from? Who am I? When those situations happen, what strengths do I have right now to push me forward? What beauty is in the world right now? Is there something in my despair that can motivate me to dig deeper? Can I see the light of the divine within each and every person and every circumstance, within each tail, within each trunk, within each leg, and in each rough-sided body to see the entirety all at once? That is being a mystic. That is the experience that allows us to recognize that overwhelming rhythmic possibility that resonates within each and every one of us, because we are sacred beings on a mystical path. There is no duality in life or in this talk. In fact, coming to the point of non-duality is the point of this talk. And I believe the essence of mysticism, to see the whole, not only one side or the other. The elephant in the room is rough and gentle, fierce and kind, strange and at the same time familiar, and perhaps a bit shocking to those who have not experienced their presence. But those contingencies or fragments of understanding do not create duality, they create a whole. And the same is true with each individual. Here and out there, we are, you are, whole and holy. When we can bring the fragments together to understand and see the entire picture at once, then we can begin to see how a few who may have power over continue to attempt in creating a dualistic culture and fragmentation of our souls. Real spiritual transformation requires ethical commitment, community accountability, and the willingness to be changed in uncomfortable ways. It can't be purchased. It can't be optimized. It can't be achieved by buying the right products or following the right guru. I urge you not to lapse into the fragmentation. This is where we lose our power. Recognize the fragment, understand it, feel it, then what? Like a puzzle, put it together into the whole picture and see the beauty and the life that can shine through. Each of us has felt a stirring in our souls. Over the course of our lives, this stirring, perhaps a general sense of unease, is what has kept us going, though we may not have realized it. It is exactly what has brought us here today. Wayne Teasdale wrote in The Mystic Heart, "Once touched, even for a brief moment, we are changed forever." Our inner life is transformed by the deifying radiance of the transcendent ground from which everything arises, into which everything returns. That's from Wayne Teasdale. We live in a world of inner spirituality and mysticism. Explore, feel, act, head, heart, hands. Be fearless. Each one of us a mystic. Each one of us is a mystic. Each one of us stands on sacred ground. I want to encourage you to sign up for my 5-week class that starts tomorrow on the 2nd of February. I'm offering it from 6 to 8:30 in a hybrid fashion and in person and online at the center on Monday nights and on Wednesdays from 1 to 3:30. Let's be a mystic together and explore the presence of life within us. Let's find out who we really are. Have a great day. Stay warm. Enjoy the snow. And so it is.
Let my heart be open, let my mind be still. In this body temple of all-consuming love. Let my heart be open, let my mind be still. In this body temple of all-consuming love. Let my heart be open, let my mind be still. In this body temple of all-consuming love. Let my heart be open, let my mind be still. In this body temple of all-consuming love.
This is when we remember that we live in an abundant universe with a generous energy. Abundance of every nature is shared with us liberally. Please take out what you're going to give and hold it close to your heart, either figuratively or literally, and join me in saying our prosperity affirmation. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give. Use this one, David. Please take out what you're going to give and hold it close to your heart, either literally or figuratively. And join me in saying our prosperity affirmation. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. You can donate now or later by going to the Donate Now button on our website, cslasheville.org, or click the link in the comments on YouTube. Please know this center continues to share this message of love with the world because of your loving support. I would like to thank each of you for watching and participating in this Sunday celebration. You are all a part of this amazing community. In keeping with our tradition, we acknowledge the children with us present with us around the world and within each of us. Join me in sharing a blessing with children everywhere. We love you, we bless you, and we know you are divine. Our February affirmation: love is at the center of all creation. My creative thought emerges as joy, peace, and love.